Howdy guys, how's it going? So we have got ourselves a nice cool rainy day, so that means we're going to be doing an overnighter. So it's been raining since 2 a.m. Everything is absolutely soaked through. We're just kind of getting some scattered showers now, but it's supposed to maybe kick up a little bit harder again later on in the night. And we are going to be using some emergency shelter items. We're actually going to be going with a kit that can easily fit in your pocket. And for that example, I don't even have the majority of it in the backpack because it is these two items right here. So something that's extremely cool and unique is a company called Rescue Essentials come out with this airbase, which is an inflatable sleeping pad, which I believe this is the only product like this on the market. This is just one of their thermal blankets, but then I also always carry my Titan Survival XL thermal blanket in my canteen kit. And then I've got a Mylar tube tent deal in my pack, as well as a Mylar bivy. And we'll talk about ways that I've already done camps and field tests with those, and we'll try to decide on what exactly setup we want to use for the weather we got coming through. Also too, a few days ago I pulled my lower back, so I'm still getting over that. So if you see me like moving and bending weird and slow, that's why. But I didn't want to pass getting out on this rainy day to just test out some new gear. So and yeah, I think this is also the first video you guys are like first full-length video that you'll probably be seeing this AKEC pack. I brought it. The only thing that I will say, I've really been loving this pack, and I've used it a good bit even while traveling. But this rainfly design is not, this like pack fly design is not wanting to stay on at all, especially when you're having to cut through brush. But it does come with the pack, so I'm gonna play around with that a little bit more. Might do a little bit of a couple modifications to it, but that's the only negative. But again, we'll look at this pack in closer detail and some other at some other point in time after I've got more dirt time with it. But if anything, the pack cover will give us something dry that we can set our pack on. But yeah, the model is the Alpha 3200, and it's got a DWR coating and repels water. Like right now where it's not really raining, it's just sprinkling, it would be fine without the pack cover. I mainly just want to keep that fleece dry. But yeah, don't have a ton of stuff with me because our shelter options are very compact. So right here I also brought out this blowfish survival tent, which I think we'll do that too because I want to try it out. The main thing is that air pad, and then, I mean, you guys have seen tons of stuff with the Mylar blanket. This is a survival bivy, which we can use to make a browse bed, but tonight it's only going to be getting down to like the low 40s, like 42, 43. So I want to see kind of what that air pad would feel like with Mylar material underneath it. Okay, yeah, it's sounding like it's wanting to try to start sprinkling a little bit harder. So the good thing is it looks like we got some stakes in here, not very substantial, but I don't think we're going to have any wind. The biggest thing is I'm hoping there's a long enough piece of cordage in this because I brought limited cordage. But even again, if you want to stick something like this in a jacket pocket alongside that thing right there, I mean, you do have extremely lightweight shelter. Me personally, I would still always recommend taking out full high quality gear, but if you're new to it or just want a very small day pack kit, something like this could work out really well. I believe this particular tent here came from a battle box. Standard like nylon looking cordage, that's not paracord, but still might have some like inner strands to it. And this does feel to be fairly quality Mylar. It has an actual grommet in it there. I was just kind of hoping one side would be closed, but I'm not. Because I had another tube style tent that's supposed to be like better made. And I do have duct tape in my kit there, so we could probably go with that. So yeah, it looks like they just, because there's two grommets on each corners, I'm assuming that's where they want you to stake it down by design and then just run your cordage in between. So the tree you're on and probably that tree right there is going to be what I try to run this through. The resources. Over here to you guys, and by golly, it looks like we have just enough to where I can make a knot that we can tighten in tension, because I'm probably going to slide this down lower to the ground. And then the pegs do fit down in between the grommets pretty well, so if we can get this down and figure out the height part of it, as if we can find a spot without a rock in it. Boom. Okay, we were at the opposite end and it did just start sprinkling just a wee bit, so that's pretty good timing. Now, with where that is, I got my pack at the end. I've got the pack cover kind of splayed over the top of the ridgeline to help keep stuff from getting in there. But I mean, ultimately, between condensation and probably just a little bit of rain getting in on each ends of this, there will probably be a little bit of moisture in here, but that's why I think the inflatable sleeping pad thing is going to be so key, because that'll get us up off the ground enough to where anything should just run underneath it. So I want to go ahead and get that blowed up and just see what it's looking like, because it's a very unique piece of gear. Okay, again, so just going in to my pocket, pulling that out. It's supposed to only take a couple of breaths. Let's see if it says on here. It says 4 to 5 mouthfuls. And the other cool thing about this is if one of the air chambers gets punctured, it's not supposed to affect the other ones. So you could even like cut this down after it's inflated. And it's a nice little Ziploc bag too, so. That right there is it. And that is, I'm 5'10". So yeah, this thing's length is pretty solid. All right, here we go. That was one full breath. Two full breaths. Boom, and there we have it. That is our inflated sleeping pad. And that is really cool. So let's get this in there and lay on it. My only sleeping bag / cover element, I got my Helicon Tech Swagman roll, again with the temperatures just getting down to probably about 42 degrees, and being inside a Mylar tube, and then just having that extra sweater if I need it. I think this will be more than okay. So, and I know I've got rain on my jacket. I'm not worried about it. Okay, it actually feels really good on the lower back. What I might do too is, I don't know if I got any jute twine with me. I know I got some 550 cord, but I was actually thinking if I might take some Gorilla Tape and see if it'll stick to the side of this, and then we can pull the walls out to give us more room under here. Sweet, there we go. We got that pulled out. Seems to be holding very well with the Gorilla Tape, because I just kind of slightly dried the spot off. Then right here, I got a piece of Gorilla Tape to the bivy tent thing, then to the paracord so that doesn't slide down, and then I took a piece and closed up this head area a bit. Still going to leave the rain fly over this, and that will take care of 90% of it, but it's starting to sprinkle again. I'm going to crawl back in here and stretch me back out and see what it feels like with that room difference. Oh, and there you go. You can see that just makes all the difference underneath there. I'm probably still going to take and favor one side instead of sleeping dead center. That way I can have gear and things right here. We'll have the pack up there blocking the head area, but I want a place where I can like lay my stuff. But yeah, because we got this Mylar blanket underneath this air pad that will be reflecting body heat, and then the air pad gets us off the ground, the ground's not completely frozen. I really am curious to see if I can just rock with just the air pad. Because making a browse bed with a bunch of wet leaves isn't fun, but you could definitely do that with that other emergency bivy that we have, or even with just a space blanket. Just, you know, get your 2 logs and fill the middle full of leaves so you have it compressed for, you know, your 4 to 6 to 8 inches. But probably not going to be breaking this out. So with just, again, something, if you just had this tube tent and this pad that will fit in a pocket, a cargo pocket easily, you've got yourself a shelter that'll get you out of the rain. You know, you wouldn't want to be in gale force winds with one of these things, because that probably wouldn't pan out very well. But just a basic shelter, it definitely it does what it's intended to do. Anytime you use this Mylar stuff, always have duct tape or Gorilla Tape with you, because I mean, we just made quick, easy, simple guy out points by just sticking tape to it, and that's even with the material being somewhat wet. Like I dusted off water droplets, but it was still pretty wet. But I got this new Uberlin I think that's how you pronounce it, fire kit. So I wanted to break it out and use it. It's just sliding tin. We got our ferro rod and what I call a jute match. And then they got some of these like tender pyramid things in there, but I'm not going to mess with that. And their ferro rods had this hexagon shape to them. Coating off of this. Okay, that's the sparks we're looking for. Normally I like to rub it up on a rock, but there's no dry rock right here. Okay, so now let's see how easy that takes a spark. Still would prefer to have this ferro rod worn down a bit. Oh, but one strike and we're good to go. So let that catch, then we're just going to feed it under here. Boom, there we go, got the fire going nice. That way we can just kind of dry off our hands and stuff where we've been handling all of this wet garbage. And then I am already looking forward to eating. I got a new jet boil pot that I'm going to be trying out. We're just going to be boiling water with it, but looking forward to seeing how it performs. And still waiting for the sky to open back up on me. So far it's just been continuing to sprinkle. Oh, but one thing I did want to do before it got dark is I got these string lights here that are supposed to be weatherproof, and I wanted to maybe run them through the inside since they just has like a standard ridge line. So I'm going to give that a go because they just kind of spool up. Can't really get that out, but yeah, it's just like a really thin line of lights. Okay, so this turned out really cool because we can hit this and then boom, lit up like a golden palace. But then we've also got some yellow colored flashing. Then we can go straight color. I don't know if that is like a fade in, fade out. Yep, so I got fade in, fade out, then back to yellow light, and that's it. So nifty little ogre light there. Okay, so we have had a decent little bit of rain come through. Everything right here is looking really good as it's supposed to. You can see the water's not really running down in there past a couple of inches. I've checked down at the other end and we're good. I've took my rain pants off and just kind of got them over the back of my pack. And I just had to open that pocket there to get my headlamp out. But yeah, so far this tube tent shelter is working out really well, even with those Gorilla Tape tie-out points. It's doing its job keeping the stuff on the inside dry. But yeah, I'm gonna break out that new jet boil and see if we can get some food going. Alrighty, so yeah, under here with a headlamp and them lights going, it is plenty bright. And I also took one thing in my pack, because I'd packed for this specific type of deal a couple days in advance. I've got a 50-hour candle that would actually set really good right here. We'll probably try that in a bit. But temperature-wise, I am doing just fine. I have a moisture wicking layer on and then still just my rain jacket, and I'm more than comfortable. So, but yeah, this is the jet boil. Drawing a blank on the name, the Minimo. There you go, I like it when they remember to put the names on these things. But the Minimo, there's our thing of water. This thing has like a stove stand with it too. The only thing that I thought this was supposed to come with a percolator thing. I still might reach out to them and see if that was something that was supposed to be in this. It just ended up not being in this. And we're not going to cook under here because I don't want, that would just be an unreasonable amount of condensation. But just thought I'd kind of show you guys. Really, one of the only negatives that I've heard about these is people saying that they've had issues with igniters not working. So yeah, we'll just have to kind of see if we have that same issue. One of the most important things, and that is the stove stand. When you're using these small canisters, you just don't have much of a footprint to work with. So yeah, let's go find a spot outside to do our boiling, because for my meal, brought out, you can see that, a Ready Wise lasagna with sausage. I've had that one. It's very good. I ain't gonna worry about getting that candle out right now, but we're just gonna boil with the lid off. I'm not trying to do a scientific boil test. Probably been a good idea to check, see if this thing, okay, I see a spark, so it's getting something. And she's lit to get to boiling. And yeah, I've just been slowly feeding the fire just to help keep some of the dampness out of the air. But I mean, everything around here is soaking wet. So that's been easier said than done. Not a priority. Here, nice fairy light. See the bit of the glow from the jet boil over there. Okay, that right there took no time at all. Like the time it took me to step away, throw a few more things on the fire, and then come right back and grab the meal out of the tent, or or shelter. Let's see if I can pick the whole thing up. That should be good to go. Gonna give us about 14, 15 minutes, and we can chow down. Oh, I hope that's in frame good enough. But it's nice that we're not having to eat this in that cramped space. That looks and smells fantastic. Exactly what the gut needs for bedding down. I'm glad, because I think that sleeping pad, where it's more narrow, will actually fit inside my swagman roll when it's zipped up, which I'm hoping. That way we ain't got to worry about sliding off of it in the middle of the night, because it is very, very slick. But again, the temperature, it feels like we're still in the upper 50s. I could easily not be wearing this jacket. There's still just a lot of stuff dripping from the trees. All in all, I'm kind of impressed with how that Mylar shelter's holding up. I mean, it kind of would have been interesting if we would have ended up having a windier night, and I do wish it was colder, but I got to squeeze in as much content as I can while we still do have some cold weather. I'm hoping we'll still get a snow before the winter season's over. Not too shabby at all. This one has a very rich and like well-seasoned sauce to it. And this would be a lot more enjoyable if I hadn't tweaked my back. And it's really stupid how it happened, because I was working on the underground bushcraft bunker shelter, so hopefully you guys will be seeing that sooner than later. But been moving extremely heavy logs, rocks, all that stuff, absolutely no problem. Then I was just digging with like an entrenching tool, just bent down all the way and come back up with like bad form and just probably 2 pounds worth of dirt on the shovel, and stood straight up and twisted, and just something in my lower back got pulled for sure. But yeah, it actually feels kind of good to be up moving around with it, and even like walking with a pack, hiking with a pack. It's not that heavy with this particular loadout or anything, but even that wasn't a problem. It's more of just like sitting and bending over again in that lower back region. But I'm gonna finish this and get back with y'all whenever it's time to set up the bed system and hit the hay. Oh, alrighty guys. I got my rain jacket up front there against my bag, kind of like how I did with my pants, but that worked a lot better. But after I take this out, I don't know how well that's going to stay standing up. But yeah, if you're not familiar, like I'm sure most people are familiar with the Helicon-Tex swagman roll, but it's essentially kind of like a Wooby poncho liner. It's just got much better insulation. I think it's Climate Shield. I got mine in woodland camo, and the outer shell of this is very water resistant. It's not waterproof, but it's like you can use this just as a standalone poncho in light rain, but it zips all the way around, and kind of like I figured, this inflatable pad should. Oh, it's just funny how much of an immediate difference, from kneeling on this blow up pad to just like kneeling directly on the Mylar and then feeling the cold ground underneath. But yeah, overall this is definitely a very solid, realistic hiking kit that doesn't take up much space at all. Like this would easily have been a good opportunity to use the belt rig, like that Nixie Works belt rig, or just whatever other surplus style one you can come across. Then we'll pop our boots off. And I'm setting them kind of further in. It's going to dirty up this area over here a little bit, but I just don't want them near the edge where water can get to them. So yeah, I mean, there's enough room in here for me to sit up in the center, like fairly unimpeded. And I do, hopefully, I don't know, I do want to lay kind of flat. So I'm probably not going to use much of a pillow. I can put my fleece under my head. But right now, like, I don't even really need this thing on top of me comfort-wise. I'm hoping the temp does drop a bit because I'll just be more comfortable that way. Let me turn that off, see if we can get the fairy lights doing their job. Oh, but yeah, just again, truthfully, just laying here. And I mean, it just feels good to lay flat too, because where I tweak my back. But yeah, it has really the same, I'd say it has pretty much the same comfort level as laying on a closed cell phone pad. That's like really the best thing to compare this to. I don't think they have an official R rating on it, which it can't be much because it is just tubes of air. But I think having that reflective mylar underneath it is going to make a big difference in terms of its overall performance. We don't wake up drenched in sweat. But temperature in here is very comfortable. Unless anything eventful happens, I will see your beautiful faces in the morning. So until then, good night. Oh, I think I hear just a little bit of rain kicking back up, actually. I think a breeze might just blow through and that's falling off the trees. But anyways, until the morning, good night, guys. Oh. Alrighty, good morning, guys. It's definitely in the morning hours. It's 4:06 a.m. if you can see that. And I'm doing pretty good. I put my fleece layer on. I think now it's sitting in the temps of the lower 40s. And yeah, I woke up because my feet are cold. So I think it's probably like 42 degrees. Here is that candle I was telling y'all about. So, instead of putting my feet down there that I thought I lost, so that may or may not be connected to y'all at the moment, but I want to take and light this candle and see what that does for this. Because there's definitely wind getting up through this front area. But like it is getting fairly windy. So that's definitely a good test for the shelter. But we'll see. Oh, we're taking. But I've really been laying comfortable on this pad. Like a little bit of a cold spot on my hip area. Oh, but nothing to the point to where like I would expect. Can't really give you a good full like I've been warm inside of this thing for the most part of it. Well, I blew it out. But yeah, it's getting way windier. Than it was supposed to have got. Oh, I already got a solid 4 hours of sleep, so that's more than you can normally ask for in a situation like this. But really impressed with the durability of this pad so far. Oh, now that candle's lit, it's not doing a bad job. Okay, yep. So, that right there just burned that little that little wind gust, pushing that against that candle blew a hole in it. So, by no means a long-term solution. I think there's, what time is it? Yeah, it's 4:21 or 4:12. 4:12. So I think I'm gonna try to do a better job of like closing up this end and get this candle going to warm this spot up. Okay, it's definitely got windy, but I got that top section blocked. Try to relight the candle, but that's what the top section's looking like with a pack and our jacket. Okay, that stuff blocked up there. That boot right there. Candle, boot down there. That seems to be a fairly solid setup. If we can make it through the last few bits of this heavy wind. Whew, okay, so the Mylar has definitely stretched because both of my tie-out points have worked to some extent. But between them stretching and everything else, like if I had left that candle burning while I fell asleep, then I wouldn't have burned to death, but this thing would have definitely melted. So, one thing to know, and it looks like right there, this particular shelter is starting to come like apart at the seam. So yeah, it looks like I'm gonna be up for the rest of the night. Still a very survivable night, but because like now I'm very comfortable with inside of this shelter, but now that it's got windy, there's not a lot I can do aside from like actually managing, there you go, like managing the shelter itself. If I want to keep this candle burning. And like having this candle burning definitely increases the internal temperature in here by probably 3 to 5 degrees, which is really nice. So I want to try to do that. Otherwise, this swagman roll is doing a great job, and this sweater I'm wearing is also doing a great job. So I'll just update y'all as things go along. At this point in time, it is about 4:30 on the dot. If you can see that. Oh, or not, but yeah, 4:30 on the dot. So I think at this point, one of the best things to do is just wrap the swagman roll around myself, and I doubled over the insulating pad, and I'm going to lean against my pack, because it looks like my tie-out point right here is still connected, but it's got loose, probably from the tree with the wind, considering that the left side, my left side, is still pretty loose. I put my boots back on, so my body's working on getting them back warm again. And I'll probably step back out and see if I can get that pulled again. But that was 4 hours of quality sleep. As far as anything else is going to come from leaning against my pack, and I have to reposition that. With that, where my back was bothering me, if I hadn't took the 800 milligrams of ibuprofen, I'd really be hurting right now. But as far as an emergency shelter goes, this is nowhere near the worst I've experienced. I might hop out and see if I can tweak this a little bit. Whew, okay, got that pulled up and hard. So that shouldn't be going anywhere. But now I've got this pad doubled up with my boots underneath. My boots on. But now we got that. Let's take and try to get this candle lit again. a bit warm around here. Again, perfectly fine, truthfully, underneath here. And the wind seems to have died off a bit. It's about 4:45. So yeah, it's about 6:30-ish, roughly. The temp for sure did drop. Probably somewhere around like 40 to 42 degrees. Still, truthfully, like relatively comfortable with like wearing my boots and then like kind of tucking into the fetal position with the sleeping pad folded up in half. I did light the candle, and that does help a good bit because, I mean, again, 42 degrees is not crazy at all. Like, I've pushed other stuff way further. But we did have a breeze kicking through, and it was like kicking up, kind like giving actual, like, I don't know if you see my breath, but that's like more from the moisture in the air. So like not trying to make it seem any colder than it actually is. But probably right at about 42 degrees. And it's just the breeze that's catching and coming right up through here where this is acting as a wind tunnel. Because I've got that front portion fully open. And yeah, like other than that, this shelter system truthfully has worked really well. Since doubling the pad over and getting, excuse me, in like more of the fetal position, I've not got a single cold spot underneath me with the Mylar and those dual air chambers underneath me, so that's good. But yeah, like with these random breezes, like you just cannot take a risk on this Mylar folding over and it catching something like your Wooby or the material itself. So I'm gonna get up and just get myself awake, and we'll start trying to get things packed up and headed out since it's already about 6 something in the morning. So yeah, the candle actually did make a difference. I'm glad, like, I didn't bring my thermometer, unfortunately, but I guarantee it's a good 5 to 8 different degree under here than it is right outside, because I went out to pee just now, and I mean, you can tell a difference. But I don't think we got any colder than 40 degrees the whole time we was here. So again, like, I was very comfortable. Nothing crazy. Blocking off that one side right there, 80%, helped a lot. If we was able to block off both sides, like, which you could do, considering I had just even like a minuscule amount of Gorilla Tape, I could have blocked both sides off enough to where there'd still be enough ventilation to also light this candle underneath here. And then with body heating this swagman roll, I guarantee we could have easily been comfortable to right around freezing, like 32 degrees Fahrenheit. But yeah, you know, it was a phenomenal test for this stuff, and it worked out very well. Like, you really couldn't ask for any better performance for cheap, common gear like this tube tent. And then this airbase thing really surprised me, because again, like, the majority of the night I slept on it single layer all the way down for my body, and then ended up doubling it up, which still covered from my head down past my butt cheeks. And considering the ground wasn't frozen beforehand, it was more than enough to keep me comfortable. So, like, not, you know, if you was trying to replicate that in a survival situation, then, like, you would be more than fine. But I was actually comfortable sleeping on that. Right now, I'm the most uncomfortable hunching over because of, like, where I pulled my back muscle. Packing everything up, I'm actually going to take and try to keep this air, there's no way to deflate it, but I'm going to try to keep it intact. That way, I can actually take and we can use it again maybe and just like some further tests to see just kind of how much abuse it can take, because I don't think a single air chamber popped on it or lost air, situated and packed up. And I've got like 20% battery left on y'all's camera, so that's going to do it for this one, guys. So until the next one, I really appreciate y'all watching. Make sure to thumbs up button, subscribe if you've not already, share the channel videos with your friends, family, anybody that enjoys go outdoor activities and gear. Hit me up in the comment section, thoughts, opinions, questions, anything you'd like to see me do more with this specific type of gear. And yeah, until the next one, adios. And I do apologize, but for those of y'all that stuck around that are interested, this is what the inside of the shelter looked like after it was done. There's the pad doubled up coming here from the outside. Everything done very well. Aside from where we burned those few holes in there when the tent fabric folded over. But everything done extremely well. Yeah, I'll probably do a time-lapse shot if there's enough battery for y'all to see me pack it down. But it's just now like 6 something, about 7 in the morning. So it's still dark, but everything done very well. I'm using the Swagman roll as my primary insulation layer, and it's very comfortable. Whew, alrighty. So now until the fish one next, guys. Adios.